It may come as a surprise to many an exhausted mother or father, but thinking about your children could improve your memory. A study suggests when thinking about raising children, an adult's memory goes up a gear. Researchers claim it seems that the biological necessity to protect children survive helps our brains to store information we would otherwise forget. The findings may come as a surprise for former Prime Minister David Cameron, who famously left his daughter behind during a visit to a pub in Cadston, Buckinghamshire. Researchers at Binghamton University, New York carried out a series of tests to see if thinking about bringing up children improved one's sense of recall and found that it did. The better recall was found when compared to another crucial biological scenario, finding a mate. Ralph Miller, a psychology professor, said, "Our ability to think and memorize information arises from our nervous systems. As our nervous systems are a product of evolution and past experiences, one can reasonably expect that how well we memorize information today is influenced by natural selection that occurred among our ancestors long ago." Professor Miller and colleagues tested the theory by asking subjects to imagine they were living in the ancient grasslands of Africa and to remember a series of words such as rock, apple, ball, and stick. They were asked to rate the relevance of each item to how much use it was to their survival. When presented with a scenario that involved raising children, they remembered many more of the words. But in another scenario, a task involving finding a mate, the recall was not so high. The researchers said that while both activities relate to survival, our prehistoric ancestors may not have realized that mating could result in children because of the 9 months between mating and birth. Professor Miller said that this research demonstrated that our genes not only influence our anatomy and physiology, but also the ways in which we think. He said, "These findings testify to the remarkable effect that specific situations thousands of years ago, situations of which we have no conscious memory, have on the functioning of our brains today. What is evident is that the specific functioning of our brains, like our height and hair color, is strongly influenced by genes that were selected for among our ancestors." It is still unclear what aspects of the ancient grassland survival and ancient child-rearing scenarios caused a more effective memory recall, but Miller and the other researchers believe it has to do with those scenarios being important to evolutionary success. Miller is planning to further explore this idea with new scenarios to determine the memory difference between a biological child and an adopted one, as well as raising a pet dog. They expect that the biological child scenario will have the highest recall, while the pet scenario will create the lowest.